talk about how to up-level your psychic gifts, okay? And this question came from two of my beautiful cosmic community members, Tyler and Tabitha. If you're all watching, hello, I love you very much. So I definitely look like a fairy mob boss in this tracksuit, I just noticed. Anyway, okay, so when we are trying to learn new things, and it's not even learning, it's like re-remembering, and that's going to be part of this video, is we're all naturally psychic and intuitive. We all have gifts. It is a part of re-remembering. Earth School, it'd be hard out here in these streets, okay? But you are a person that has chosen to come to one of the most difficult spiritual evolution level up dimensions. Okay, so you're advanced already just because you're here, okay? And you're like, I'm going to challenge myself to the hardest thing possible so I can up level in my growth and expansion. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way because we've been through a lot of trauma and hardships on this plane, because it's a trial by fire, and a lot of energy healers and light workers and empaths, in order to help other people through things, you have to learn how to heal those frequencies within yourself, because then you can recognize them in others. And then you can get into things like healing other timelines of yours or healing other timelines of other people. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do, but healing and self-love are the way there. This is a matter of remembrance, okay? That these are your homeostasis points. This is not something that is, you know, just brand spanking new to you, okay? Unless you're like a brand new baby soul that just came out of source. But if you're watching this video and you're on my page, I would assume that you've probably been around a long time. So when we are trying to heal the whole of us, that can be very overwhelming and very exhausting. That's why we want to focus on different sections and different chapters. You know, just like you'll be interested in different things at different times. Like, let's learn about chakras, let's learn about light language, let's learn about healing our central nervous system, you know, all that stuff. So in shamanism, there are 4 different energy bodies. There is your spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental. They all need different things. Just like your inner children need different things than your central nervous system, and your gallbladder needs different things in your eyes, okay? They're all you, but they're different facets. And you can kind of see that as a collective too. It's all you, but it's different facets as well. Back to the previous questions, they were asking like, hey, if you're like really tired and you don't have a lot of time during your day to work on these things, or the 3D paradigm's like really bogging you down, how do you work on your psychic gifts? So let's split it up. That is how I have up leveled in my own like consciousness expansion as well, is saying, hey, what can I do today for like 10 or 15 minutes for my physical body? What can I do for my mental body, my spiritual body, my emotional body? Because you are a whole being, but they all need separate things. And if you work on like one at a time in tandem with one another, the whole wheel will start moving, okay? And I will say your physical body is the most important one, which sounds counterintuitive, or like that wouldn't make sense, but you are a human being, okay? A multidimensional being that living a human experience. And if your human is broke down and exhausted and burnt out and has a blown out central nervous system, and we're not grounding, you're only going to be able to go up so far. Like, you're only going to be able to access so much in the upper dimensions and different frequencies, because your body is the container space to be able to do those things. So you have to work on strengthening it and feeding it good food, just like you would like a plant, watering it and all these things, okay? Your human is the channeler. You are using your physical senses, your eyes, your ears, your touch, your taste, your like everything. So you got to focus on that one, okay? Because you have to have a relaxed central nervous system in order to access higher dimensional planes. You have to be able to shift your brain wave states and get into your subconscious as well to do like Akasha healing or inner child healing. So please focus on that one, okay? It's the most important one. But there's different things you can do for your physical body. You can take salt baths, you can go out and hug a tree, you can go on walks, you can dance, you know, anything that's getting your physical senses involved. Now we can go over to like your emotional body. Like maybe we need to do shadow work. Maybe we've had repressed emotions for like years and years and years that have been crystallizing and turned into, you know, just anxiety and depression and stuff, or just like pent up energy. Or maybe you watch a movie that elicits emotions within you, or we listen to some music that really does healing for us, or go to a sound bath. And then you have your mental body. This is your human understandings of things. This is you having new input coming in, like you taking a course or a class, or like working on your mental stability, like playing brain games and things. We have your spiritual body. You can do things like light language is really good, like listening to it. Reiki is really good for your physical body. I just want to say that as well as like a side note. Or maybe it's you spending time with friends, or you doing guided meditations, or you connecting with different spirit animals. These are all going to be pertinent to you and what you enjoy, but you see how they're all very different from one another, but still you are a whole being. And some of these things don't sound like they would help you with psychic and spiritual gifts, but here's the thing, okay? We all have a lot of trauma and things that have happened to us, and it cultivates negativity and catastrophizing and, 3D hologramming. If you work on yourself, like we're talking about, in all these different areas, what that does is it takes all the heaviness and the density out of your chakra system and your light body and your auric fields, and you naturally tap back into these things because you're happier overall. Like, that is your homeostasis point. And so you being, balanced in all four of those areas, you're naturally going to become who you already are. You're going to strip away all of the facadal filter lenses and the programming and the trauma damage, and you're like, oh, this was me the whole time. Okay, so it's more about removal than it is necessarily learning, and more about remembering, oh, I was already like this before I got here. This is just part of the human experience. And then breaking it down into the different sections, and it doesn't have to take, you don't have to study for like 3 or 4 hours a day. It's incremental growth and forward movement. And so 10, 15 minutes a day focusing on one of those areas, if that's all the time you have, then that's fine. Because I will tell you, if you really do this and you hunker down and you focus on it and you work on these different areas, you're going to be living a different life in the future. Like, it may not seem that way right now, especially if you're like still plugged into the 3D matrix in whatever that means for you. It is going to look different, but sometimes we put like so much pressure on ourselves to like do it right this second. But the thing is, your human self probably has a lot that they still need to heal, like with your central nervous system and your chakras and programming and your inner children. And you can't rush those things because your body takes longer to heal than your multidimensional self, let's say, or your light body. And so little bits at a time really do start to make a difference, and they start to snowball, and then all of a sudden you wake up as a new identity and a new reality. Okay, both of these videos I'm about to talk about you can find on Tube. So this one is The Power of the Jaguar by Alberto. Make sure you get this one because he has lots of different Jaguar videos on there. But he doesn't specifically talk about Jaguar. He talks about the 4 energy bodies and how they differentiate from one another. And when I was learning about shamanism, I watched this and it was like super eye-opening for me. Okay. And then this one is by Carlina, and you can also find it on Tube. What is central nervous system regulation and how do you do it? So she is an energy healer, and she talks about healing your central nervous system on a human level, but also on a multidimensional level, and why that's so important for your spiritual gifts, your psychic gifts. So I would love to hear if you have any questions or what your thoughts are too, or if maybe this example of breaking it up into the 4 energy bodies was helpful. And